different than how we're normally vlogging, but I thought it'd be cool to try vlogging for a day with only the GoPro. Alright, you guys want to hear something crazy? This house right there, that one, it's not completely done yet. This is the listing for it. Yes, that is correct. Bananas. Alright, that GoPro thing wasn't working out too well, so I'm just gonna go right into the Q&A on my normal camera. Let's get into this though. I'm really excited to get back into these questions because there's a lot of them. Dylan, what are your plans with Zox for the future? We have a lot of plans. One of my favorite things about the way that we run everything here is that we keep it close to the chest. And what I mean by that is rather than talking about all these grand plans and things like that, we'd rather just do them and then show people once they're actually releasing. Because I feel like there's so many things that are in the works. To be honest with you, a lot of this vlog, I would like to get more in depth with it, but I feel like when I was younger, I used to always say, I'm gonna do this and that and all these different things and have all these grand plans, and nobody ever took me seriously because I would always just be saying all these things that I wanted to do. For us now, the big thing is we do and then we talk about it. And I think that's actually a lot more fun because it keeps you guessing. There are some things obviously that you know that we're working on, obviously the app, t-shirts that are custom cut, obviously this right here, it's being pulled down a little bit because KJ is sitting underneath it. The zip up hoodies are coming soon. Shoes is something I've been working on quite a lot lately. A pretty big variation in the backpack that's coming out pretty soon. And I mean, a few other things. The biggest thing when it comes to releasing other products within Zox is that I don't want to release a lot of different things and just have like this huge lookbook of all these different products. I want to really master a few products and really master a few things that I really value, like t-shirts, like wristbands, obviously. I want to be the very best at it before I move on to something else. So when it comes to an overall kind of arcing theme as to what we're about in terms of, I guess, development and kind of future plans for Zox, it's mastering something before we move on to the next thing. It's a very good question though. Brandon, any thoughts or word on shoes? Shoes is bar none the hardest thing I have ever tried to make. And the reason for that is there's so many moving pieces that go into it. You're talking about a very complex product that, especially when it's being worked on by somebody like myself who's obsessed with the details and also happens to be a huge sneakerhead, there's so many pieces of it that have to come together that it really is important for me. One of the biggest things that we're working on right now with the shoe, for example, is making sure that what makes it authentically Zox doesn't come off as corny or cheap or something like that, because I think there's a right way to do something and a wrong way. The wrong way, in my opinion, is to say, you know, we love the idea of interchangeable artwork, but just to throw something on there that's interchangeable and have it look really corny isn't the end goal. The end goal is to make a really, really cool shoe that I would see somewhere and be like, I have to have that. And I think that the customizable piece of it will be there, but it has to be in a way that really could survive that litmus test, if you will, of saying, could this stand on its own without even being Zox branded? If it passes that, then I think adding that Zox piece to it in our own way really makes it something special, like the hoodies and the backpacks. James, favorite Disney movie? There are a lot of them. I love Disney movies. I'm watching so many more now with Sven, but I have to say Aladdin. I love Robin Williams as the genie. I don't know what it was. That movie to me it's probably because I was a lot younger when it first came out. Lion King is actually another really good one as well. I think it has something to do with that huge, like, what is it, that lion's head that came out of the ground that he went into to find the lamp with the genie in it, and like, that to me just totally captured my imagination. So I'm gonna go with Aladdin there. It's a great question. I think your favorite Disney movie can tell a lot about you. Jassa, are you going to make Zox belts? Funny side note for this, Brandon actually cuts his strings to be belts. Obviously they don't have any sort of adjustment, but if you If you ever see a picture of him wearing a really thin belt, it actually is a Zox string. When it comes to making belts, I would say something that we've thought about, but to be honest, I think we want to focus on more actual garments before we go into more accessories. Wristbands has always been our #1 thing. It's never been looked at as just an accessory to us, but to kind of grow into this more all-encompassing brand that we want to be, the next products have to be things that are clothing and like the backpack, that kind of the bigger products before we can go small again. So that's why we've kind of held off on doing things like lanyards or belts. Obviously we could make them really easily, but I want to make sure that we're really knocking out these other projects that we're working on first. Alexander, what are your favorite designs for Zox straps? As in a style, minimalism, excessive bright colors, etc., or whatnot? It's a good question. I personally like very minimalist straps. If you watched a vlog from a few days ago, one of the straps that I had talked about that I actually pushed through, granted it was because Brandon was sick and not in the office, so I had to pick out the bespokes for that week, was Modern Muse. One of my favorite colors to use in designs is actually Pantone Cool Gray 3. It's a very, very light gray. If you have Modern Muse, the outside of it, it actually is the Pantone Cool Gray 3. It's one of my favorite colors though. I actually like more simplistic designs. This one that I'm wearing today, for example, is actually the authentic Imperial. I love the Prayers string and Imperial. I thought that was awesome. That's actually one of my very favorites, as well as Passion and Purpose. I love the bright color ones too, but it really just depends on what I'm wearing. For example, yesterday I wore a pair of bright shoes, so with something like that I would have worn typically a brighter strap if I had one that was neon enough to match it. But I personally like the really subtle stuff. I feel like that, maybe it's just because I'm an old man now, I don't know. That doesn't mean that I don't appreciate all the bright designs, I definitely do. And kind of if you go back to the last Q&A where we talked about my most worn strap being Humble, kind of goes along those same lines. Still color to it, but a very simple design. Zeth, what about Zox collars for our furry family? That's a great question, and I see Melissa commented on it as well. Melissa actually recently made us little Zox collars for our doggos. KJ's is actually too big for him, so she's making him a smaller one. He's very excited. He's very excited about it. He actually was sleeping. As you can tell, he still is sleeping. I would love to do that. I think it'd be really cool to do that, and I have thought about it. I kind of categorize that in the same thing as the belts and lanyards, but since it's kind of for a different, I guess, species altogether, it would be for dogs and cats, I think it would definitely be something that I would be interested in. I could probably see that coming out maybe next year. That'd actually be really fun to do as well. I love seeing all the pictures with dogs and cats already anyway, so seeing them with little Zox collars would totally make my day. Dan, when can we have a ZoxCon where peeps can meet, straps can be sold, traded, bought, and admired? I suggest the Philadelphia region. That would actually be pretty cool. I feel like my kind of master plan when it comes to something like a ZoxCon would be really growing these meetups first in these different areas that we're doing them. Tomorrow we're actually going to be in Lake Tahoe, so if you're watching this today, the day I'm posting it, we'll be in Lake Tahoe tonight. And then the next day we'll actually be in San Francisco. So if you're in either one of those areas this weekend, drop me a line, Jason@Zox.LA, and I would love to see you. That being said, Dan, to answer your question, once we get these Zox meetups really popping and they start to really grow the way I want them to, then I could totally see doing a ZoxCon, because if you think about how many people there are that are part of this community, it's amazing. And I think getting everybody together to really hang out and have a good time like we have in the past with the DC one we had recently, and even the few folks that joined us for barbecue in Kansas City, it totally makes my day. Honestly, it like gives me goosebumps just thinking about it, because it's my favorite thing is to hang out with you guys. So ZoxCon will definitely be something in the future. All right, last one. Anna, would you consider bringing back some doubles? Por favor. You know, it's funny, when we first released doubles, I told Brandon, I was like, these doubles are gonna kill our straps. Nobody's gonna want normal straps anymore because they're only gonna wanna wear doubles. And then we released them. They did well, but never got the traction that our straps have had and obviously continue to have. I'm not sure why exactly. Maybe it's because some people felt they were a little bit too big. I have bigger wrists, so for me, I loved them. For people with the smaller wrists, I can totally understand how it wouldn't be as nice of a fit. I think The reason we kind of shied away from continuing to release those and even the triples / headbands was because we've really invested into making this Imperial system better. Just last night, we actually finished our, I guess you'd call this version 3 of our tips for them. The new ones actually have a significantly stronger magnet in them that allows them to pull themselves shut, which is really cool. And the best part about it is they'll actually still fit with version 2, so you can latch them in to pull your hoodies through, that kind of thing. Got off topic a little bit there. That's the reason that we haven't released more doubles and triples, is because it's the same width as an Imperial like this, but they end up being a lot easier just to have the different sizes so people can select a size that fits them best and then kind of go from there. Could I see releasing them more in the future? I have a feeling we may release some doubles in the not too distant future in something like the Secret Stash, where it's a very limited amount of them. But other than that, I'm not 100%. All right, that's it. I gotta get to editing this. It is literally 5:30 in the evening, and this vlog takes me forever to edit as it is already, even though it's just a Q&A, and even though I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna be able to use any of that GoPro footage, I gotta get to work. So thank you again for submitting all the questions. If you want to continue to submit questions, you can submit them to me directly, jason@zox.la, or in the comment section of the Zox VIP post. Whew. That's it for now. I'll see you tomorrow.